Hey, Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm really excited to chat with you. I think I mentioned before we got started that I'm sort of living vicariously through you. I really, really wanted to go on the Starcruiser and just couldn't get it together before, everything closed down. And so I've been, a lot of folks like my friend Dave Cobb, I've been, sort of living through the stories they tell me of when they got to go. And so getting a whole documentary on it is really, really, truly incredible. What inspired you to create? Oh, actually, first of all, let's start with the beginning. What is Halcyon Daze?
Halcyon Daze is a feature-length documentary film about the Galactic Starcruiser, and more it's about why I got obsessed, and then why the community got obsessed, and then what it meant to a lot of people, and then how the community is carrying on with the spirit of the Starcruiser.
It's for something that was around for such a brief moment in history. Why do you think the Star Cruiser had such a huge effect on people?
Yeah, first, I'm so sorry you didn't get to go on, and like I said, we're kind of chatting. Sorry, I'm sorry. It was horrible. I'm just gonna pretend like it
Yeah,
was bad.
yeah, yeah. It was terrible. Nobody should have done it. There's a
Yeah,
4 hour video about that.
yeah, right. And that's the only perspective that matters, of
Right.
course.
Yeah, totally.
Um, Wait, what was the question?
Why do you think the Star Cruiser had, for something that was a relatively short period of time, had such a big effect on a group of people?
On a group of people, I think is the thing. For some of us, this was an opportunity to be someone we'd always wanted to be, and to also live out Star Wars sci-fi dreams in an immersive spaceship in outer space. And also because the experience is unlike it's unlike anything I've ever done, and it's so powerful, and the design was meant to engender positive community building. It facilitated experiences that transcended the art form, reunited families, estranged people, people coming into confidence in a way that they hadn't, because they could be this person that they always wanted to be, and then they took that person, that character, out of the experience. So that's a little bit of it, but also like it was super luxurious, and I know that's why it costs so much, but if you break it down on by all the things that you get, I mean, you could just split a cabin and not, it would be the same as staying at the Poly rack rate for one night. So it really, for everything you got and the way you could split it up, it was really luxurious. People love that. I mean, just the superficial level, but the transformative power and the community that formed absolutely is why it was such a, it's become such a lasting thing.
And so what were you, when you first were going to go on the Star Cruiser for the first time, what were your expectations before you got on the ship?
I knew everything. I spoiled the whole thing. I knew it all because I was taking my husband for his 50th birthday, and I wanted him to have a great time. And I thought, well, it's a Star Wars thing. I want him to do it. And his dad, he was going to do it with his dad, who passed away a couple years earlier. And I'm like, I don't care what this costs. We're going to reserve it, put a down payment down. And then his mom said, I'm going to do it for his 50th. I'm going to pay the rest. So I had expectations based on me looking at all the videos, poring over the Star Cruiser spoilers pages, and reverse engineering stuff, because I wanted him to have a great time. And even knowing all that stuff, it was an absolute surprise at every turn, and I had no idea how amazing this thing was going to be. So
what was
expectations, yet still didn't know.
what were some of the surprises? What were some things that caught you off guard?
Okay, you ready for the moment?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Please tell
Strap
me
me
about
on.
the moment.
Okay, my character was an aunt to, she was the aunt of a niece who'd been conscripted, she thought, by the First Order, and taken to a location close to where the cruise ship would dock. So
Okay.
she went on to the cruise with a crystal, thinking, I'm going to talk to one of these Saja people on this cruise and say, I'm not really religious, but maybe this can help. It's my last ditch effort to find my niece. So I talked to Saja, I tell her the whole story. It was a cruise that didn't have a lot of um, people on it, so they were really into somebody who was going to play.
Yeah.
Told her the whole story. it was very, I was in a force sensitive path. So I'd been kind of at the same time giving Lieutenant Croy, the first order baddie in the story, a bunch of shit. Like,
Yeah, like you do.
yeah, like quit conscripting younglings. Like, what are you doing? Like, he was talking to, kids on the ship, and they absolutely loved Croy. Like, these boys would follow him around. So I was just teaching him, giving him crap. But then, in a more serious moment later on that same day, the first day of the cruise, my husband and I are sitting in the lounge, and he walks in, and I go, Croy, listen, seriously, like, let's be real. You have a family, right? And he goes, all serious, and I'm getting goosebumps right now. He goes, I know what you're going to ask me, and I don't know where your niece is. We don't have her. And I was like, how? My husband and I were like, how did he know that? Right? So these moments happened all the time. Like, they had ways of recording information, but it wasn't earpieces. Like, they were trained about how to memorize these things and engage and talk amongst themselves and use analog ways to do this. And so this happened all the time to so many of us.
That is really, really
A good example, does that tell you?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing a story of there was a kid who was had like broken his leg or something, so he was on crutches. I don't know if you've heard this story. And he really wanted to do this one scene with Chewbacca, and in order to make that scene work, he had to get up a flight of stairs, which he was taking forever at. And so the Lieutenant Croy actor knew about this and stalled for like 30 minutes to wait for Chewbacca and the kid to get there so they could do the scene, which is just incredible.
Yeah, I did. I've talked to those people. It's amazing. Like, it happened all the time.
Yeah. So you had this amazing experience on the Starcruiser, and then you went back a couple of times, right?
Yes.
Was it a different experience each time? Did you come in with a different character?
I did. I did. It was a different experience every time. Like, the second time I was on, I was gaming it hard. Like, I knew it was closing. I had 2 cruises booked before the closure was announced. So I felt very free that second trip to really play it by ear and do what I wanted. But I wanted to like try and get things. I was sharing, by the way, I was sharing a suite with people. We split it up. It was less, and it was when discounts were offered. So I paid less than, like, it was about $1,200 total for me to go on. And very affordable. Like, that is what you would pay rack rate poly each night without everything else. So
what you pay to go to an immersive LARP anywhere in the United States right now. So,
exactly. And you're not in your room. Like, you're not at all. So yeah, every experience is different. Like, the highlight of that trip was being in the climate simulator and getting to use the Force and use pieces of my dissertation work about home and place and displacement with Asaja. And we ended up crying, and I took the Rose Tico ring that I was wearing off my neck and said, I want you to have this. And I didn't plan on giving that to anyone. And we're crying in the climate simulator. And, also I ended up that trip trying a few of the cocktails in the Sublet Lounge, and I hadn't tried. And I also helped with the heist and did a different part. And then on the third trip, I was with my brother and his son and my husband again. And my husband, who's an introvert, became a completely different person. Like, I was like, I'm sorry, could you not be Dree Cornelius for 5 minutes while we're in the cabin? And me, my husband, was like in this fake British accent. So that was powerful. And he got to do the climate simulator and wore the Saja out because he was such a goofball in that character. And then the final trip, I played this crazy Wookiee because my goal was third to last voyage. I want to make all these cast members break, and I'm going to be as I can. So we were shooting, so it was work. So I couldn't do all the missions the same way and all that stuff. But like, I got to let them see what I had been talking about and help the doc team really understand why this thing was not like anything else you're going to experience in your life until we get there with immersive. Like, maybe it'll be a Harry Potter or Star Trek. That would be fantastic, folks. We'd love it. Yeah. Does that answer your question? It was different. Improv, scenes, like, there are 100 different ways for this thing to go. And I have no doubt that if I did it 4 times a year for the rest of my life, it would have been different every time.
So, you mentioned starting the film, the documentary. What inspired you to say, like, okay, this is, this thing is going away. We need to, like, document it.
I mean, it was more selfish than that. I am a nonfiction writer. My degrees are in writing, and I write to figure my life out through nonfiction. And I was like, I need to make a documentary to figure out why I got so obsessed with this thing. What's wrong with me? This is expensive. I mean, I could afford it. I don't have kids. Put it on credit cards or whatever and pay it off. But like, why did some of us get so obsessed? Like, what, how do you break it down and take it apart and understand? So that's why. And then it became like, oh, this is important to document because we were changed by this. The actors were changed by this. The crew was changed by this. And we're carrying this thing on. And there's this really positive, amazingly talented, creative, smart community of those people that came out of it that is, again, unlike anything I've ever done. So it's like the Starcruiser was not like anything, and then all these friends that I made in the community that's doing things like Halcyon and the Galactic Dinner, the Imperial Recruitment Event, the Halcyon sessions, the sessions in Batu with the Jedi Talk guys, the Corellian Caper. People are carrying this thing on. So I want to figure it out. I wanted to figure it out.
And so,
and of course I perfectly figured it out, and I have all the answers.
100%.
So watch the film for all the answers.
Yeah. But it's cool.
We do have some of the answers. We kind of do.
That's neat. I love the idea of exploring yourself through art, and that's what it sounds like you're doing with the documentary, and so that sounds really cool. I think it would surprise a lot of people to learn how much the community has continued on. Sort of the folks who were like, oh well, it's just an expensive Star Wars hotel. Can you talk a little bit about like some of those things you mentioned, like Halcyon and some of the other stuff where the community that was built on the Starcruiser continues to get together and grow and hold on to each other?
Yeah, Halcyon is a super fan conference. I think this year there's 600 or 700 tickets, and they sold out immediately, like very quickly. So people do sessions like my friend Diana Sanders does Saja meditation in the morning, and it was packed last year, like way over capacity. People do like lightsaber training, or like people cosplay like crazy, or crafting on the Starcruiser. So Halcyon is a conference, 2.5-day fan conference. The Galactic Dinner was an event put on by Chef Andrew, who has 10 galactic stars, and I'm sure he's hilarious. But his wife Wendy is a writer, and he's a writer and a theater background person. They also have other jobs. They put on this dinner with Starcruiser themed food, and they had a whole theater play. They wrote it. It was beautiful. And it was in, of all places, my home state, but Covington, Kentucky. And people came from the West Coast. People came from all over to be part of this, and it was amazing. And then there's online things and things in Batu where people are trying to replicate like this immersive interactive experience.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get a bunch of people to go to Batu on the same day with like characters and costumes and just LARP around the world all day. I think that would be very, very fun.
So please invite me. Snacks wants to come.
Okay.
My character come to that.
Excellent. Let's do it. So what do you think, you had this sort of journey of self-discovery that you decided you wanted to document. What do you think that you've gotten the most out of making this documentary and like exploring what the Halcyon meant to you?
There's a few things. What the Halcyon means to me now, because of the doc, is that I've met so many dang amazing, generous, creative people. And I've made very close friends who are now like some of my best friends. And like I traveled to like the Bay Area to see them, or to Charlotte, North Carolina to see them, just to be with them. As an artist, what it means to me is that I am not going to be like modest and say I'm not capable of leading a team. I've done that, but like I had no idea how hard it is, but how much a great team can get done, and how people would pitch in to support us, and how art really is this huge collaborative effort with the community when it's representing a community that is like that. And how, I don't know, just, am I getting at what you're
Yeah.
asking me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
like I I'm just grateful and humbled and impressed with myself and impressed with the team, and I've learned so much. Like I thought, okay, if I can just get on this third to last voyage, I'll take my iPhone, I'll get into iMovie, and I can make something happen. No, absolutely, like, not going to happen. But through adding people onto the team who are experts, cinematographers, executive producers, motion graphics people, score people who just said, hey, I got a score degree, you want me to do it? I'm like, are you kidding me right now? So like, it's actual like feature length professional level. And I am just kind of like, just, we all have these different skill sets, and it's like a truly collaborative effort. And I have a lot of, I had, it's, it's incredible. Like the fact that we raised $52,000 in a week and a half, and people came through, and we're going to still have more to do, like legal consultations and all the things that we need to do, coloring, sound. I'm just blown away.
Yeah. That's awesome. So what in your heart of hearts do you hope people get from watching the documentary? What do you think? What would you really hope like the message of Halcyon Daze would be, and what people would take away from it?
Global message, macro.
Yeah.
Art can change culture in a positive way. A little bit less macro. Being playful as an adult is really important. Even more, diving in more, like connecting with people who mean something to you is one of the most important ways to having a wholehearted life, like living a wholehearted life. And then using your imagination and creativity, however you do it, whether it's carrying something on that you love or allowing yourself to just take a risk and do something you might not be sure about. It's just a way of life that's really rewarding for so many of us in the community. But I think in the world, like, let yourself go and try things. What's the worst that can happen?
That's awesome. Had you done any like LARPing kind of stuff before the Starcruiser, and have you done anything since? Because it's funny listening. A lot of the stuff that you're saying is stuff that I've seen and heard from like the big, immersive LARPs and stuff that I've went to, and so I love that the Halcyon kind of opened this up for a whole new group of people.
Yeah. I did dungeons. I've played Dungeons and Dragons and on and off my life, not hardcore, but some. So I was familiar with that. Cosplayed some, like Princess Mononoke and Deep from the Dark Crystal and things like that. But I had not LARPed in this way ever.
Have you considered trying it out now that you've gone and done it?
Oh, I would totally do it. Like when this stuff's done, I'm gonna find a mega LARP and go to Europe and like do that thing.
Hell yeah.
Or I want to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's so fun. So fun. Yeah. What about you? Do you LARP with that?
Yeah, I do. I haven't in a while. But I used to do. There's board game conventions all over the country that do these parlor LARPs that are like 8-hour. It's fun because it's kind of like the Halcyon in that you will have a very limited amount of time, so you've got to get all of your story and your secrets out in like 8 hours, as opposed to like one of the long running LARPs where you can hold on to character things for days. So I really like the sort of fleeting story arc nature of those. I haven't done any down here in LA since I moved, but I'm hoping to get to one soon.
Have you done Knott's Berry Farm?
No, I've been to Knott's once, but it was the busiest day of the year that I went on accident, so it was too crazy to do anything. I'm gonna try and go back and do Ghost Town this year because I heard great things about it.
That's on my list. And have you done Meow Wolf yet?
Yes, I have done Meow Wolf in Vegas, which is, oh my god, so freaking cool.
So great. That's one I've done too.
Yeah. That whole thing was incredible. Just the storytelling that you can follow or not follow. My wife and I were like, oh, we'll only be there for like 3 hours, and we were there for like the whole day.
Yeah. When I opened up that t-shirt stairway, I was like, oh my god, there's a thing. Oh,
yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Well, we're running out of time on this Zoom call.
Okay.
So if people want to, so you've got a Kickstarter going on right now. You've funded already. Congratulations. But you've got a lot of stretch goals and things to work for. Making a documentary is super expensive. So if people want to find out more about Halcyon Daze and if they want to support your Kickstarter, how do they do that?
All right. So our website, if you want to do that, is halcyondaze. Wait, where's it? Film.com. One of those two. I'd
Hold
have
on,
to type
I'm
it.
on the website. I'll look it up.
Okay, thank you. So we have a website. They tell you more about the team and everything. The Kickstarter, just search for
HalcyonDazeFilm.com. There you go.
HalcyonDazeFilm.com. Thank you. And then we're on socials. You can look us up the same way. You'll find us on our Instagram and our Facebook page. But the Kickstarter, listen, I just want to say we really need people to just click the page and watch the video. That helps us keep up the algorithm at the top. We are a project we love officially by Kickstarter, which is like a staff pick. We are so excited. And if you can throw any money our way, or a lot of money, we have associate producer level, executive producer level, but what you're helping to pay for at any level is making this thing really great and showing the world that sci-fi, gaming, these things are meaningful to communities, and we like to play as adults, and there are important lessons about who we are in life and human nature in them. So Kickstarter, Halcyon Daze, share. Thanks for anything you can do to help us out. We stay in the Starcruiser community. You know the phrase that we say?
Shoot. Yes, but
Together?
Together as one. Together as one.
As one. Yeah. So thanks for helping. If you can come and be together with our little scrappy crew and help us out. And thank you for reaching out. So thoughtful.
Of course. I like I said, I was dreaming of doing this thing myself, and so I'm really excited to get to live vicariously through you.
Hop on the movie, hop on board.
Woo! All right, well, folks, we're gonna take a quick look at the trailer for Halcyon Daze, and then we'll get back to the stream as usual. But Carrie, thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Tabuite.
I'm Carrie Coaplen from Louisville, Kentucky. I teach senior English. I live a pretty, normal life. Oh, Dad, I love you so much. I'm sorry I'm not there. All right, happy 80th birthday. I'm missing my dad's 80th birthday, but priorities, I gotta be on the Starcruiser right now.
Hello there. I would like to congratulate you on booking your voyage through the galaxy. You will be boarding the Halcyon.
Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser is a first-of-its-kind vacation experience where you get to spend 2 days and 2 nights living out your very own Star Wars story.
The Galactic Starcruiser was a branded Star Wars experience on Disney property that was a 2-day immersive theatrical live game-playing theater event. On its surface level, that's what it was.
I became obsessed with the Starcruiser, but I shouldn't have gotten obsessed. I'm not a Star Wars superfan. So I want to look under the hood of this thing, and I want to know how, why, what does it mean about who we are? What's up with the Starcruiser? Do you need a drink?
Not now.
Oh, Jellicle Snug Snack? So I decided on this character, Jellicle Snug Snacks, aka Snacks Baby. Behold!
Cosplay became something where I could express myself very freely. I can be a villain. I can be a non-human creature. I can be a wise sage. I can be a funny character.
I think he likes you.
And I found that very freeing.
Pleased to know that our new ship's mechanic, Sammy,
Jellicle Snug
has
Snack.
brought him here.
It's 70 hours of immersive theater happening over the course of 2 days.
Just call me Snacks.
Yeah, it's nice. If we're skilled enough and we do our job, you take them through not just watching a hero's journey, but living it.
So an alternate reality game is what we call this transmedia experience. You have to go out and search and seek.
I just downloaded some stuff to my data pad.
You might talk to non-player characters. Holy crap.
What we fight for is not enough.
This is amazing. Maybe this world is deeper than I think it is. How deep does it go?
how did Disney create this thing that's so magic and powerful and connected so many people in such a positive way?
It felt kind of like I had been searching for like a certain level of belonging for a very long time, and that you feel like kind of instantly at home and welcome.
It's evolved into not just Starcruiser friends, they're just friends now. And that Disney certainly did not plan for.
Breaking news from Disney this afternoon. One of its newest hotels at Disney World is about to close its doors for good.
This is the third to last voyage, and I can feel that. People are crying and sad.
Disney is permanently shutting down its Galactic Starcruiser hotel.
I think that it was doomed, like hard doomed from the beginning.
Yeah, that is just so sad. It's over. That was a year and a half of magic that everybody who got to touch it and be a part of it will remember forever.
So my question is, now what? What are we gonna do now?